Hello, YouTube. It is me, Nacarelli, here, and yep, I had to do it. This is not necessarily my style, but I couldn't resist. And you know me, we're becoming almost an exclusive HK channel at this point, but they just keep making some good shit. So this is going to be a quick overview of a pistol that is relatively new in the HK lineup, and it is the P30sk, SK standing for subcompact. And I didn't intend on purchasing this pistol, but I decided to because I was looking for a dedicated carry piece, and the USP Compact has typically found its spot on my hip, but it's a little bit big in general. It's definitely not like a PPK or anything, so I was thinking maybe I would go more of something like a dedicated carry gun, and was really enamored by this P3000sk that this one local shop had, and it had the LEM trigger, and it had night sights, and it was in 40 Smith & Wesson, and I actually called them, had my heart set on getting it. And then when I got there, I couldn't stop looking and checking out this. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, it's beautiful. Take this out. All the general stuff that comes with these HKs. Especially on the P30 series, you get your back straps and your side panels. And I have an extra magazine here. Now this is actually the LE package, which comes with night sights and actually 3 magazines. And it's about an $80 to $100 extra charge. I'm almost exclusively buying these LE packages now because I think they're just a better value versus getting night sights put on, buying a spare magazine, etc. So, take a look at this little guy. P30sk. Now, this definitely wasn't the variant that I expected to pick up. For a dedicated carry pistol, I was really looking more for either one of two. Either an LEM, just plain LEM, or a V3, which has the double action, single action trigger and the decocker back here. Right there. This happened to be a P30SKS, S meaning safety, but it's also a double action, single action variant 3. And in my opinion, this combination is a little bit overkill. I'm not talking about the gun itself, I'm more just talking about the configuration, right? Because you have the double action, single action pistol, which I think the double action trigger pull is really kind of a safety when you're carrying. But then you have the actual manual safety on both sides, which is, a lot of, safeties to have to kind of get through. So what I'm planning on doing with this piece is 2 things. One, I'm either going to sell it. If anyone would like to inquire, I'll throw it up there. Just private message me. Or I'm going to convert it to variant 1 on the LEM and leave the safety. I did that with my USB Compact, and I really actually kind of like that manual of arms. I'd prefer that it just had a single-sided safety, but it's just the way it is. And why do I prefer that? Because for a dedicated carry piece, it's thick, right? Especially, it's the thickest right here on the dual safeties, and it's already a chunky gun. So what can I tell you about this? Well, as I said, it's variant 3, but it's a subcompact version of the P30, and it's a very attractive gun. I don't think anyone can deny that. And it's fully ambidextrous, which is something I personally can live without, but it's a neat feature in case you guys are left-handed out there for a carry piece. You've got your traditional HK magazine releases here. We've got a full magazine. It is steel, and it does have 10 rounds of 9mm. You've got your dual slide releases on each side, right there. And this is interesting because there are a couple different frame options for the P30sk and the P30. In general, when you get a safety model, the frame is different, so they give you different slide releases. They're shorter to accompany the safety levers. And while they may look like the P2000 levers, I'm moving this. There's nothing. There's no wiggle. And when I open up the slide, there's nothing. These are the tightest HK dual magazine or slide releases I've ever seen. You can see the hammer's back, and you can carry this cocked and locked. Now, interestingly enough, you can decock the pistol with it still on safe. For whatever reason. It's not the worst. I will say that the safety lever is extremely tough. I mean, you are not going to inadvertently put this on or off. You've really got to work it. And it's actually good because of just the nature of the musculature here. It's easy to sweep off, but pushing it up, going this way, it's very tough. So maybe that's a good thing because you won't inadvertently sweep it up. So very, very well built in that regard. The trigger is your typical P-series trigger in the V3 configuration, which means it has a long double-action trigger pull and then a typical single-action trigger pull, but with the P30's kind of sloppy reset and long travel. So for that reason, I'm really leaning on LEMing this gun. And I'm actually going to probably do away with the decocker. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you can't do that, but it's been done, and the space that's left over from the decocker isn't too garish. So will be something I'm going to probably do. As far as fit and finish, this gun is impressive, like all HKs, but really this, even next to the P2000, I just couldn't get over how nice this was. And it's interesting for me because, as you can see, the grip here has only got space for really 2 fingers. Now I have small hands and small real pinky fingers, so I can get it on there. Right? If I kind of cram them all in there, I can get it on there. But it wants to kind of come down here. But the grip is so well designed on this P30 style grip that it just fits in your hand. I mean, picking up the P2000 next to this, it was the grip, even on these subcompacts. And the P2000, remember, has a pinky extension where you can get your whole hand on it. But this grip is just so much better feeling that I was really enamored. So, and it is clear, just in case anyone wants to see that. So in the P30sk, as a dedicated carry gun, there are a lot of options out there that are in this field of firearms, which is the carry subcompact world. And I carried this the other day, and I gotta tell you, it's heavy. And it almost doesn't feel a whole lot different than my USP 9mm compact, except this dimension here with the short grip doesn't print as much. and it's not as tall, which is a really important dimension when you're talking about carry guns. But it's a thicker pistol. I mean, you've got single stack 9 millimeters out there now, very slim line. Your XDS or whatever, and your Smith and Wesson Shields that will carry, I think, much better than this will. But with this, you've got your HK. You've got your HK, feeling that it's a hell of a pistol, and it really actually feels like a full-size pistol. So, subcompacts and pocket guns are very hard to shoot. This is probably as much of a compromise as you would probably want when saying, hey, I want a full-size type of shootability, but in just a little bit of a smaller package that I can carry it and carry it just comfortably enough. So I think it's got a place in this world. Just don't think it's going to be like a micro gun. You see, I have small hands, and that's kind of where it fits. So, and they even got a Picatinny rail on there, where most guns in this class just say, nah, not worried about it. And that Picatinny rail is why you still got the thickness. Or else they would have maybe gone to a single stack. But I think this gun's a pretty neat pistol. I don't think you need an extended magazine plate. So, for what that's worth. So, I haven't shot this yet, but I just wanted to get it out there that we're going to, do a follow-up and talk about accuracy and everything else like that. It's got a really short sight radius. So, it's not designed for long ranges, so we'll see how it does. But at 9mm with this size gun and weight and this grip, I don't expect many problems. And these night sights are becoming really, really my favorite on HK pistols, especially with that hook ledge there. It's really nice, and they really expand to the back to give you as much sight radius as possible, which is, maybe even more important on this than anything else. It does have a loaded chamber indicator, but it's always red, so it doesn't do much help. I never use those really anyway. And this grip is just so nice. And the price, that's the last thing I want to talk about with HK lately. The price of their guns have, I think, fallen. I don't know if it's a business strategy or what, but the P2000s and the SKs, the P2000 SKs, have come down in price considerably. They're hovering around, mid sixes. I've seen at my local gun store for new ones. The P30sk, if you got one of the basic models with the regular, charge 'em up sights and 2 magazines, I've seen them as low as, $599. This one here with the 3 mags and the night sights came in just over $700, which is incredible. And obviously your VP9 and VP40 series are in that $750, $650 to $750 range as well. So I think HK is headed in the right direction with their prices, because this feels no different to me than a full-size P30 that I had that cost $1,000. It's just less of it, less material. But I think it's a pretty neat direction that HK's headed in. I'm happy that they haven't lowered the price on the USPs, just because I think it's important to have your staple and still be a premium. And for what it's worth, I think HK's headed in the right direction. So anyway, we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about this. But first impressions, it's very well built, very tight, no compromises from HK, quote, pun, all that. And it carried pretty well. And we'll just have to see how I shoot it now. So just wanted to give a quick update. Say hello. Nacarelli, P30sk, out.